Yes, yes po. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Today is Ash Wednesday, and Catholic communities in Metro Manila and several other areas are celebrating it in the most relaxed alert level since the pandemic started. We'll give you the latest on the ground live. It's day 2 of Alert Level 1 in Metro Manila and 38 other areas. But some experts are still divided on whether we're prepared for the transition. While several countries, including the Philippines, condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine, presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos says there's no need to take a stand on the crisis. Some presidential candidates are again visiting their rival stronghold for today's campaign. Senator Ping Lacson is headed to Bicol, while Vice President Leni Robredo will be visiting Manila. And now that Metro Manila is under Alert Level 1, the PBA is now allowed to have 100% full capacity for its live audience. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this second day of March 2022, Wednesday. I'm Charles Lejano. After 2 years, devotees here in Metro Manila can now receive ash crosses on their foreheads as pandemic restrictions ease under Alert Level 1. To give us the latest on today's celebration of Ash Wednesday, we have Justine Punsalang on the line. She's currently in Manila. Good morning, Justine. What do you have for us?
Charles, restrictions have been eased here in Quiapo Church following the easing of guidelines under Alert Level 1 status in Metro Manila. But inside the minor basilica itself, the number of churchgoers remain limited. As early as 3:30 in the morning, devotees have been heading to Quiapo Church to attend the first Mass this Ash Wednesday. In total, there are 11 Masses all throughout the day, from 5 in the morning to 12 noon, followed by a few hours of break. Hourly Masses will then resume by 3 in the afternoon. Churches are now allowed to operate in 100% capacity, but the management of the minor basilica decided not to maximize theirs. Only 872 people, or 80% of the church's capacity, is allowed by the management per Mass. For those who are not able to make the cut, the immediate area surrounding the church, like Plaza Miranda and Plaza San Juan, can accommodate them and its maximum. There are physical distancing markers that devotees are required to stand on. Unlike the previous month, contact tracing forms are no longer distributed. Vaccine cards are also not needed anymore. What remains, though, are temperature checks at the entrance and the mandatory proper use of face masks. Devotees say they are happy that there is now a sense of normalcy during this year's Ash Wednesday. That's following 2 years of sprinkling of ashes on top of their heads instead of the traditional marking of the ash across the forehead. Charles, the Manila Police is expecting an influx of people here at Quiapo Church today. However, that still remains to be seen because there is still a lot of space available for devotees at Plaza Miranda. Charles?
Thanks for those updates, Justine. That was Justine Punsalang reporting live from Quiapo. It's day 2 under Alert Level 1 for many areas in the country, but some health experts are still divided on whether we're prepared for this transition. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us the front seat to the story.
The country has officially entered the new normal. Borders are down, contact tracing forms are out, and businesses and vehicles are back at full capacity. But the Philippine College of Physicians feels we have not prepared enough for it.
We, in the healthcare sector, we are actually bracing ourselves for a possible spike again, after we have gone down on our restrictions.
Dr. Encarnita Limpin worries that the country may see another surge unless safety measures are put into place. 2 years into the pandemic, Limpin says it is clear that many establishments, workplaces, and public vehicles have still not put in proper ventilation. Limpen fears that the public transport will go back overcrowding.
Kung kulong na kulog doon sa loob ng sasakyan, lalo na yung mga buses, no, then definitely, no, if there is one there that is positive for COVID-19, that can already be a source of spread.
The League of Provinces of the Philippines is also worried, especially with vaccination rates still low in the countryside.
71% pa lang po yung ating vaccination rate. At sa tingin po namin ay dapat mas mataas pa po itong vaccination rate para po mas handa itong aming lalawigan.
Velasco said he would be more confident of going into Alert Level 1 after reaching a vaccination rate of 90%. But Dr. Conky Quizon of the National Immunization Technical Advisory Group is more confident that we have hit the endemic stage, where life is somewhat normalized already. But Quizon said the responsibility of keeping safe has now been passed on to the ordinary Filipino. And that means minimum health protocols like masking and social distancing.
Kahit sabihin ng gobyerno na pwede na, ang ganito, ang ganon, nasa sa atin kung paano natin talaga aalagaan ang sarili natin, okay?
Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
The UNITEAM standard bearers do not agree with the government's decision to back a UN resolution condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos says he sees no need for the Philippines to take a stand in this issue. For him, the war in Europe has no significant impact on our national interest.
Always in the national interest. I worry about our nationals. Marami na raw napunta sa Poland. I don't think there's a need to take a stand. We are not involved except for our nationals.
And Marcos's running mate agrees with him. In fact, Sara Duterte said she will always remain neutral on similar issues unless the interest of Filipinos is at stake. Other presidential candidates also weighed in on the issue of Russia's invasion. For Senator Ping Lacson and Senate President Tito Soto, the Philippines cannot simply stay neutral on Russia's bullying. They said the Philippines might end up in the same situation Ukraine is now. And by then, Lacson and Soto said, we might find it hard to ask for international solidarity if we don't take a stand against Russia now. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno is more focused on the economic impact of the crisis in Europe, and he says Congress should act fast to lower the taxes that we pay for oil and electricity. But despite recognizing the impact of the war on our national economy, Moreno had earlier said that the Philippines should remain neutral on the issue of invasion. Meanwhile, Senator Manny Pacquiao reaffirmed his strong stance against war, saying it benefits no one. And that's why he said the Philippines should remain neutral for as long as possible.
Mas maganda kasi siguro yung magiging peacemaker tayo, although siyempre membro tayo ng sa UN, suportahan natin yung kaalay natin kung sakaling kung umabot tayo doon sa pinakalas option. Wala tayong magagawa.
The Commission on Elections maintains that candidates participating in the upcoming presidential debate will not receive questions in advance. The poll body is eyeing to release official guidelines for this event following a meeting with candidates' representatives this week. Greg Gregorio has the details.
The Commission on Elections targets to hold its first presidential debate on March 19 for the upcoming May polls. But just around 2 weeks before the event, the poll body admits they have yet to finalize all of the parameters for this upcoming debate. Recall that the camp of former Senator and presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos wrote COMELEC a letter asking for the format of the debate. Marcos's camp also inquired about the allowed amount of time that each candidate will be given to answer every question or even to rebut each argument, among others. For now, COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez said the debate will have a single moderator format, and as part of ground rules, no specific questions will be given to the participants beforehand. The COMELEC was quick to clarify, though, that the candidates will be informed about the general topics to be discussed in the debate.
That is not unusual, and that is not unfair. In any debate, even in the Pilipinas debates that we held in 2016, we did inform the campaigns about the general topics to be discussed. We would like the debates to be fair, and every candidate will have the opportunity to do whatever research they need to do in preparation for the debates, because they will all be given the general topics, the general area around which the questions will revolve.
Jimenez notes that there will be no código or prepared notes that will be allowed to be brought on stage. Candidates will only be given pen and paper for impromptu note-taking during the debate. Apart from this, Jimenez added that the candidates will be given a debate kit, which would guide the candidates on do's and don'ts during the discussions. The COMELEC will also include information on what will be done with the participants' written notes after the event.
The kit will also tell the candidates the treatment of the paper after they've used it. Because remember, if they're scribbling notes on that, diba, hindi yan itatapon afterwards. That is literally presidential records. So those will be preserved as property of the COMELEC. So again, we tried to be as thorough as possible in anticipating all of the needs of the debates.
These and other parameters are expected to be ironed out through a memorandum of understanding with the candidates. The MOU is eyed to be accomplished following the COMELEC's meeting with the candidates' representatives this week. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Let's find out where the presidential candidates are headed today. Senator Manny Pacquiao is expected to visit parts of Pangasinan. These include Binmalay, Lingayen, and San Carlos. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, on the other hand, will be making the rounds in Bataan. And Moreno will be joining a motorcade from Pilar to Balanga, and from Balanga to Samar. Senator Ping Lacson, meanwhile, will be campaigning in Camarines Norte, where he is set to hold a press conference at the governor's office in the provincial capital of Dayan. Afterwards, he'll be meeting with farmers and other sectoral leaders in the area. While Vice President Leni Robredo will be campaigning in Manila, and she's expected to attend the sortie at Plaza Noli in Sampaloc. The PBA will finally have 100% capacity starting today as Metro Manila eases to Alert Level 1. This means that the league is ready to accommodate up to 18,000 fans again at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. But PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall said they have yet to decide whether food and drinks will be allowed inside. Although Marshall added that only fully vaccinated individuals will be permitted to see the games live.
Mga fans, 100% na tayo. Kausap na din ng Araneta. Ang protocols pa rin ay fully vaccinated ang papasok. Kailangan nakamask ka pa rin habang nanonood. Sa mga teams, pinag-uusapan na namin ni Dr. Canlas kung paano baka antigen na lang. Pinag-uusapan na namin yung mga testing.
For today's lineup, we'll see the Northport Batang Pier go up against the Blackwater Bossing at 3 p.m. And the Meralco Bolts will be squaring off with the Magnolia Pambansang Manok Hotshots later at 6 p.m. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 11 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.